Live from the station that stands for you, this is KCTV5 News at 10 p.m.
Unsettling moments outside an elementary school.
It's the worst thing any parent wants to hear.
Parents trying to pick up their kids in the middle of a crime scene.
I just wanted to get him out of there and get him home.
Suddenly, the focus shifts across the street. More shots ring out. Students run for cover.
A suspect is hit and arrested. But many parents are left with some tough questions to answer tonight.
One of those questions, was anyone hurt? Despite all that gunfire, the suspect is expected to be okay. No one else was hurt.
And that's pretty incredible because a number of people were near that scene when bullets flew. Nathan Vickers talked with people outside the school when it all went down.
But our team coverage begins with Betsy Webster, who has the latest on the police investigation tonight. Betsy?
Well, Brad, police have reopened Roe Boulevard. This happened around 62nd and Roe. You can see behind me, though, that police are still here gathering evidence at the home where it happened. This is a multi-jurisdictional shooting team that's here right now. They investigate officer-involved shootings. It was 3:15 when that shooting happened. In some ways, as someone who was here, I can tell you everything unfolded in a matter of minutes. But it was actually kind of scary long before that, because less than 2 hours earlier, the school went on lockdown because of shots fired towards the school, likely from this house. It was 1:30 p.m. when a para outside with a child heard what sounded like gunshots. The school went on lockdown. The school resource officer found a van with a window shot out. No one was inside the van. They called Mission Police. Police arrived to try to figure out where the bullets came from. They went to a house across from the school. They looked over fences. They knocked on the door. They even looked under a car parked in the driveway. They waited until 2:50, more than an hour, to lift the lockdown and release kids. A district spokesman explained then the dismissal approach they were taking.
Because it's a little bit of a tense atmosphere, we're doing dismissal as we would a rain dismissal, where we bring the kids out to their parents.
Then things got more than a little tense. Police were back at the house talking to a woman. She'd called 911.
A lady comes out, advised her her child had a firearm.
Police called for him several times. School staff ushered parents and kids inside. What happened next involves what might be a teen getting shot, so we're leaving the sound up, but freezing the video before he's hit. You can see seconds earlier, police duck while examining the older gunshots in the wall of the school on the roof. Once police get the young man in handcuffs, they start to breathe. When the shooting stopped, there were still a handful of parents outside. They'd been shielding their kids, then rushed inside. It happened that fast. The shooter was hit in the leg. They helped him to a porch and say he's stable. Now, we asked police the obvious question, do they think it was a mistake to not keep this area blocked off for longer after the first set of shots, to not have that all clear for dismissal? The spokesman we connected with said he would work to get us that answer from the agencies that were involved in the shooting. In fairness to him, he is with Overland Park PD. That's an agency that was not involved. He was requested to speak with us by the departments that were involved, smaller Northeast Johnson County departments. I don't know exactly which and how many, but I can tell you that on their uniforms right around that house when that shooting happened, as we were crouched down behind a car, I could see that Fairway and Westwood, I believe, were there, but I can't tell you about any of the others. Reporting live we are in Mission, Kansas. It's Fairway right over there. Betsy Webster, KCTV5 News.
Yeah, what an incredibly tense situation. Betsy, thank you. And many parents were waiting patiently to be reunited with their kids when the gunfire exploded.
Our Nathan Vickers spoke with them about those unsettling moments. He's live from outside the school. So, Nathan, how are parents feeling tonight?
Well, tonight they're so relieved, as you can imagine. Some of those stray bullets hit one of the school vans that broke a window, and other bullets even went into the side of the building and into the roof of Highlands Elementary. And when the school went on lockdown, many parents rushed to this building, not knowing what was about to happen. The message no parent wants to receive.
Kind of puts you through panic.
When a school employee heard gunshots, the district activated their plan to keep kids safe.
Shawnee Mission had sent out an email saying that Highlands was on lockdown.
When you get that type of email, obviously your initial reaction is a little
scared as a parent.
Some families were already picking up their kids.
Saw the police and saw police tape and panicked.
The school kept students inside until parents could come get them, then let them out in small groups, similar to a release on a stormy day.
You guys need to get back.
But as police approached the house, many had to take cover inside once again.
Just heard some random pops. Wasn't sure what it was, but kind of had a good idea.
He's in kindergarten, so my biggest fear sending him to school was something like that ever happening.
You don't expect this kind of thing to happen at your school regardless of where you are, but here especially.
Tonight, parents are holding their children closer.
I'm good. I got him. We're getting ready to go home, so I'm good.
Very anxious to get my daughter.
Relieved, but angry.
There shouldn't be shooting near schools.
With more questions about what happened.
Don't know why or what. It's terrifying.
Well, the district says that the school employees did exactly what they've been trained to do during safety drills, and that they kept everything going smoothly throughout this very tense and very dangerous situation. But the school says once everything was clear, once the lockdown was lifted, they were able to get kids on the bus and send them home safely as well. Reporting live, Nathan Vickers, KCTV5 News.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Glad everyone is okay. And as soon as police release more information specifically about who that suspect is, we will let you know. So for the latest developments on this story, you can always keep updated by downloading our free KCTV5 News app.
New at 10, a former counselor at Van Horn High School is facing sex and pornography charges involving a youngster who is under 17. Megan Wells is accused of sharing pornographic videos and having sexual contact with the minor. After being escorted from the school, officers found a loaded handgun in her purse. The Independent School District says she's no longer an employee.
Well, the countdown clock to snow is on. We're right at about 24 hours from the first snowflakes hitting Kansas City, and then we're in for a reasonably tough snowstorm, especially considering it's March. Right now, your KB Complete camera is showing pretty quiet Kansas City, and it'll stay fairly quiet now between now and the next 24 hours. But a winter storm watch has already been posted. Darker shades here indicate a winter weather advisory. That does not kick into gear until late tomorrow. 3 to 6 inches of snow still looks likely, and a little bit less farther to the north. Your Saturday planner starts out cold enough at 20 degrees. Not much of a recovery, only 30, and not much of a snow threat till about 10 o'clock at night Saturday. A track on when that snow starts and stops and how much we can expect to shovel on Sunday, Ellen. That's all ahead in your Storm Track 5 forecast.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Well, the calendar has flipped to a new month, but the forecast has not. As Gary said, more snow is heading our way, threatening to make things a mess again this weekend. Plows will treat streets late tomorrow night and continue working in shifts all day on Sunday. MoDOT is already warning about possible slick spots on Monday morning. They say that things may not be as bad, though, if they get a little help from Mother Nature.
Even with the temperatures very low, if we have some really good sunshine, that interacts, it warms up the pavement, and that helps our chemicals to work more effectively.
The snow and cold will ruin some of the fixed potholes, so when the plowing is done, those same crews will be back on pothole patrol.
Yeah, the work never ends. Tonight, members of Congress are back home in their districts while big battles continue brewing back in Washington. New Congresswoman Sharice Davids spent time talking with small business owners and our Caroline Sweeney.
David says everyone on the Hill is making up for lost time after the partial government shutdown. It took 2 months before she was able to sponsor her first bill.
You know, none of us expected to be sworn into that situation.
Democrat Sharice Davids says now that the government is up and running, so are lawmakers.
I'm learning a lot.
One of her first moves to secure the Quindaro town site as a national commemorative site. For about 3 decades, activists and legislators have been trying to protect this area of KCK. Once an Underground Railroad stop and home of a historically black college, Quindaro holds significance nationally.
It really came from the help of folks like Emanuel Cleaver, Senator Roberts on the Senate side wanted to make sure that it happened as well.
Right now, the bill has only been introduced, but it will be reviewed in the House Committee on Natural Resources. Davids also told me there is movement on her Wyandotte County office. She hopes to have an opening date for voters in that area soon. Caroline Sweeney, KCTV5 News.
Drivers in Missouri can start upgrading their state IDs on March 25th, but officials say there's no reason to rush to the DMV. You will eventually need a real ID if you want to use your driver's license to get through airport security, but the deadline isn't until October of 2020. Missouri is one of the last states to issue the federally required upgrade. Tomorrow, quarterbacks take center stage at the NFL Combine.
And a local guy has hopes of being taken in the first round. KCTV5 is the only Kansas City television station with a crew right now in Indianapolis. Danny Welniak talked with Mizzou quarterback Drew Lock about the upcoming draft.
Friday here at the NFL Combine, there was a flare of black and gold as 3 Missouri players took the mic, headlined by quarterback Drew Lock, who a lot of people have predicted to go very high in the 2019 NFL Draft. He hopes that he can be the #1 quarterback taken as well.
My ability to make plays out of the pocket is huge. I mean, the pockets aren't always perfect. You got to be able to get out and be mobile. I think with my ability to move around in the pocket and then the offense I ran this year, I'm prepped for the NFL. I went through a ton of adversity through the University of Missouri to where I know if I go into any locker room, regardless if it was a really good team, just won the Super Bowl, or if we won one game that year, I'm going to be able to go into a locker room, be a steady head, and be a vocal guy and be a leader in that locker room, so that makes me the #1 guy.
Like I mentioned, we spoke with 3 Mizzou players. Coming up a little bit later in sports, we'll tell you what the other 2 had to say, and we'll speak with the Kansas City Chiefs. In Indianapolis, I'm Danny Welniak, KCTV5 Sports.
They are ready to party in St. Louis. The Mardi Gras Grand Parade starts tomorrow morning at 11. Thousands and thousands of people flock to the Soulard neighborhood every year for the festivities, including hundreds of people from Kansas City. It's the second biggest Mardi Gras celebration in the country, of course, behind New Orleans. Well, a lot of people are winding down after a long week, but before you head to bed, you might want to set an alarm. Next at 10, the new research that warns against sleeping in.
Well, skies are pretty fair right now, but if we look off to the west, you can see that developing storm system in the Rockies. It arrives in just 24 hours. I'll tell you what it's bringing to your backyard in your Storm Track 5 forecast next.
Plus, Black Dot, Living Jewel, and Tears of Dawn. It's Friday Night Flights with an Asian flair. Coming up in just 2 minutes.
KCTV5 News at 10 is back in 60 seconds.
Because it is Friday night, a lot of us are looking forward to jumping in bed and getting some Z's following a very long week. But a new study says getting caught up on sleep over the weekend may do more harm than good. A new study says it doesn't reverse the negative health effects of being sleep deprived and may also make you gain weight. Sleep-deprived people who slept in on the weekend gained an average of 3 pounds over 2 weeks. They also had decreased insulin sensitivity, which puts them at risk for diabetes. The cure, 7 hours of sleep every single night.
I recently went back to school. Sake school, specifically, or is it sake school? Well, that's lesson #1 in tonight's Friday Night Flights. Boru Ramen Bar in Waldo serves up tasty Asian cuisine. But it's not the food we came for. Boru has one of the largest selections of sake in the area. Wait, did I say that right? It's not sake, sake? Sake. Okay. I've been mispronouncing it all these times. Patrick Berger is Boru's sake specialist. Now that I know how to pronounce it correctly, let's find out about this ancient beverage. Sake is the national drink of Japan.
Right, and the people that make it even spend lifetimes learning their craft and pass it on from generation to generation. There aren't any new sake breweries in Japan. They've all been passed down from parents to children.
The Japanese love their national drink so much, there are more than 1,800 sake breweries on the island nation. A lot of people consider sake as a rice wine, and although it is made by fermenting rice, sake is brewed much like beer. As for its kick, sake has on average 14% alcohol by volume, which is similar to wine. If you're wondering about the taste,
there's kind of something for everybody, from a really sweet, really fruity, fruit-infused sake to a really funky, dry, full body, lingering finish, Daiginjo. So there's a tremendous range, and it's just a matter of finding something that suits you.
Berger says a sake flight is the best way to explore this drink.
Brad, so your sake flight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. And who am I to disagree? We begin with Black Dot, one of Berger's favorites, which he says is clean, crisp, and easy to drink.
It'll drink like an Italian Pinot Grigio. It'll be good to kind of get your palate woken up, get started.
His description is spot on. Oh, you're right. There is a wine taste to it.
Yeah, very much.
Next, Living Jewel Sake, which has hints of citrus.
The finish is really interesting. Right. It got better the more I drank it.
The final selection in this flight, Tears of Dawn.
It drinks just a little bit on the sweet side of neutral. That's about 15.5% alcohol by volume. So sort of at the top of the range of what you typically see with the sake.
That is really, really, really good. And what about warm sake as opposed to chilled sake? Well, it depends on the drink, but most premium sakes are served chilled.
Well, here we go. Countdown to the big snowstorm is on. We're about 24 hours, maybe a little less now, to that happening. KB Complete Camera checking out the Country Club Plaza. All is quiet now, and tonight will be quiet, but it turns much, much colder. The winds have already shifted to a northerly direction, and you'll deal with that all day through, well, all day tomorrow and all weekend. Winter storm arrives Saturday night. Right now, it looks like about roughly 10 o'clock. I have the latest model data. In fact, the latest model may push that back an hour or two. Bitter cold then will follow the snow, and Sunday afternoon into Monday, that is a bitter cold stretch of time. 31 degrees, Kansas City, so we're down to about 20 by morning, but it'll take a push of northerly winds to get there, and we'll have that through the night tonight. Saturday, a very slow recovery, 27 at noon, working only to about 30 degrees, but that is still a little bit below freezing. Then the clouds increase, and that'll lead to snow during the evening hours Saturday. I don't think you'll see a snowflake as early as 7, but look for perhaps a few scattered snowflakes to come in by 10 o'clock at night. Here's a look at that forecast track. It shows those snow showers moving into the west. Now this model, the RPM, has pushed that back a couple hours, showing that the first arrival of the snow may not be till midnight or a little later. Snowing at about 6 in the morning, so when you wake up, we should still have some light snow falling. This shows that snow tapering off at about 9:30 in the morning. So mid-morning, we shut this down, and it is done snowing for the remainder of the day. Now, I switched over to the European model to show you snowfall totals, where at about 5 in the morning, there's still not much snow, but by about 9 o'clock, that bumps up to 4 inches really quickly. So there are going to be some quick bursts of snow as they come in. This is a look at both the GFS and the Euro run, showing less snow in areas of the Northland, generally less than 4 inches, but 4 to 5 inch totals in the southern part of the metro. So this storm definitely tracking a little bit farther to the south, where we should have a spread across the area of about 3 to 6 inches of snow, anywhere from about 3.5 to about 4.5 or 5 is what I'm anticipating across the city. It is a strong storm system with a very quick burst, a low moisture content, but at a 15-to-1 ratio because of the cold air. We're going to pile that snow up in a hurry. Expect about 8 hours of snow, 5 of which will be more of a moderate to even heavy snow at times, and 3 to 6 inches will be totaled before that day is done Sunday. Security Bank 7-day forecast, cold Saturday, just a bitter day Sunday, and Monday doesn't look any better. How about Monday morning, 4 below zero? That is going to really smart. A chance for rain Thursday. That'll take our snow and squash it down a little bit, but it's also going to make an icy finish to next week. And a quick little tidbit here. A week from Sunday, there could be a second snowstorm coming. Your weekend forecast and details coming up after the break.
He did his throwing program, felt it a little bit, went and did live BP, felt it a little bit there, went home that night, and it was sore. Next day, it was sore.
Deja vu for Salvador Perez, injured in spring training again, but this one no joking matter like the suitcase spill. He is likely done for the season. A UCL injury. It's in his throwing elbow. A report says he will have Tommy John surgery and miss all of 2019. The Royals as a team have yet to confirm a decision on surgery. We'll get back to spring training action, but first, from warm to cold, snowy Indianapolis, the site of the NFL Combine, day one of on-field testing. Our exclusive coverage continues with Danny Welniak.
There's more than 330 players and more than 1,300 NFL execs, scouts, and coaches here at the NFL Combine. But there's one player overshadowing all of it, and he's not even here. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Everyone wants to play with him.
I would love a Patrick Mahomes, the cheetah. I love all that.
It would be fun to me having Pat Mahomes. Someone that beat me a few times in my college career. It'd be awesome to block for him and be able to watch him making plays for myself.
No one wants to play against him.
You know, we might be playing 7 defensive backs at a time. If you watch Kansas City play in our division, you might need to play 8.
But during this process, what made the Chiefs want Patrick Mahomes in the first place?
People talk about the arm strength, his ad-lib ability, mobility, all that kind of stuff. I think with Patrick, he had an innate ability to make people around him better.
There were a lot of questions surrounding the 2017 quarterback class, but the same can be said for this year's group, one that includes Kansas City native and Mizzou quarterback Drew Lock. He says watching Mahomes develop during a redshirt year in the NFL before starting is something he would embrace as well.
I think the number one thing you can take from him is that just make him the most of your opportunity. I think it's hats off to him to how he prepped that first year and then how he played this year, which is pretty good.
We'll have more from the Combine in just a moment. I'm Danny Welniak, KCTV5 Sports.
Danny, thank you. That's right. More from Drew Lock and his fellow Mizzou teammates in Indy. Plus, as promised, some optimistic Royals highlights. That's all coming up after your weekend forecast.
3 to 5 inches of snow coming Saturday night into Sunday morning, but you have all day Saturday to prepare for that. But it's going to be a cold day Saturday, starting out at 20 degrees. Skies will increase with clouds, becoming cloudy in the afternoon. 30 at 3 o'clock will be your daytime high. Then, late in the evening, that snow moves in. Now, you should wake up to 2 to 3 inches of snow on the ground Sunday. Another inch will follow after that. Temperatures stay steady at 12 through 3, then fall into the single digits during the evening. So snow is only one aspect to the weekend. The bitter cold on Sunday is the second. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Warmest day so far this spring for the Cactus League action. And the next pitch, that ball's lifted high.
Well, I can't blame you for sulking about Salvador Perez's injury, but Adalberto Mondesi is here to help. The Royals' top young player goes yard in his first at bat against the Angels. Later down 3 with 2 on. Jorge Soler hits one above the clouds, and it falls eventually for a game-tying homer. That said, the Angels do take this one, final 10-7. Okay, back to football, back to Indy, back to Danny, and this time a special guest.
Welcome back to the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Neil Jones joins me, and it was a big day for our local guys.
Especially the Missouri Tiger guys. They were like a fraternity. Everybody smiling, everybody excited. Over the past 2 seasons, whenever the Tigers had a long pass play, it seemed like it was always Drew Lock passing to Emmanuel Hall.
Man, we made each other, man. It was like peanut butter and jelly.
While at Mizzou, Hall accounted for over 2,000 yards and 16 touchdowns, which has led him to the edge of his dreams.
This is something that I've dreamed about since I was a kid, and just to be here on this stage, dude, it's crazy.
Locke is also joined by Missouri tight end Kendall Blanton, number 11. The Blue Springs South grad's dad played 7 years in the NFL with the Chiefs.
He's helped me out a lot just all throughout my football career, giving me pointers, cussing me out when need be.
Now, Locke is attracting a lot of attention, and why not? The Lee Summit grad passed for over 12,000 yards with 99 career touchdowns.
I know I'm athletic enough to be in the NFL. I'm going to prove that tomorrow. I know that I have the arm strength to play. I can make any throw on the field.
I know for a fact there's not a better quarterback in this draft than Drew Lock.
At the NFL Combine, Neil Jones, KCTV5 Sports.
Thanks a lot, Neil. The quarterbacks actually work out tomorrow. We'll have much more on that tomorrow at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. In Indianapolis, I'm Danny Welniak, KCTV5 Sports.
Thanks so much for watching here tonight at 10 o'clock.
And for all the details of this incoming weekend storm, keep it right here to KCTV5. Our weekend crew will be covering that for you all weekend long.